Hello my fellow bargain enjoyers, it's your boy PB Akataku. If you're here, you already know what's going on, but I'll say it anyways. It's another toy bargain hunting outing. I've been having a monstrous run of finding good stuff, but I'm sure a strikeout is inevitable. Whether it happens this time or later on is up to Lady Luck. Regardless of the outcome, let's do this. Before that, if you enjoy the content, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and sub to the channel. If you deem me worthy of further support, Patreon's in the description, or give me a super thanks. But more importantly, make sure you wreck those disgusting turd squirrels. Like, no one wants to see you walk around wearing only underwear in public, Ione. It's gross and unsightly. Down the hole you go. We're starting at Ross, and almost immediately, I found something new behind this Greninja Pokemon Select action figure. A Zapdos Pokemon Select action figure. Zapdos is my favorite of the original 3 Mystic Birds, which makes me Team Instinct. This thing costs $15, and I would not recommend getting this at Ross unless it's your only option. I'll explain why later. I think we're off to a great start with seeing something new and cool right off the bat. There's nothing else noteworthy on the end cap, so we're gonna move along right into the path of a One Piece Battle Record Collection ace. I said this in a previous short, but $20 seems like the standard pricing for Bandai anime prize figures at discount stores. While some stuff like the Grandista line are priced even higher, it seems like anime figures are moving slower at Ross, and speaking of moving slow, we have this very uninspired WWE Main Event Series Seth Franklin Rollins action figure. I'm a little tired of seeing the guy in the main event scene. Actually, I lied. I'm very tired of seeing Seth Rollins in the main event scene, but here's a 2.5-inch Cat Mario action figure that doesn't have the Nintendo DS price. That's good at the very least. And check this out, a panel spectacle Minato Namikaze. Whoops, dropped something. I'll pick it up later. Sadly, he's $20. Tobirama was $15 and Hiruzen was 17 or 18 smackers. What's Hashirama gonna be if he ever hits Ross? 25 clams? See, I told you I would put that back. Let's keep going through the usual mess. It's crazy looking like always, and we just passed a Funko Pop figure of Jason Momoa as he appeared in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. No need to get that, so let's move along. There's not much happening here, nor on this side. However, someone completely wrecked this Matchmaker's Ultimate Gohan box. Is it really that hard to remove the tape and open it nicely? It appears so. And this is the second time I've seen the price tag ripped off a Grandista Super Saiyan Goku at the store. Someone really took exception to the cost, and I noticed something. The comparable value is empty. You know what that means? Dick sucker price. Let's continue onto the rear shelves. It's a bit on the empty side, but I'm sure there's still plenty to be had. Anyone into those Batman toys? Here's another One Piece Manhood anime figure for 20 clams. Again, the new standard which I feel you should all avoid. And there's some new stuff at the Funko Pop section. Look at all those Karibos. This is one of my favorite Funko Pop figures, and it was one of my earliest reviews. I'll post a link in the description if you wanted to see my early day cringe. I wanted to get more, but I had no more Hot Topic or Box Lunch coupons to use before they ran out of stock. I have one opened and one sealed in a hard plastic pop protector. There were 4 here, but I think I'll go with 2, and I guess I could check out this Goomba real quick. $3, and I remember getting a 5-pack of 2.5-inch Super Mario action figures for that price at DD's discounts a while back. What luck. There was hardly anyone in the store at this time, so I felt fine leaving the Karibo Funko Pop figures while I explore more. And here are some Legacy United Strong Arm Transformers. DD's Discounts currently has Legacy Evolution versions of Strong Arm, but from what I read, they're the same thing, just in different packaging. There wasn't much going on at that end cap, and Ross started putting toys back on this end cap. I guess most of the pens, crayons, and markers sold out because school is back in session. I was about to take my findings to the checkout area, but I did notice one more new addition to the Funko Pop figure section, this Mickey and Friends version of Daisy Duck. It looks like she's going for a morning jog or a workout. I'm gonna pass, but I'll stick with these 2 Karibos. They'll be yet another welcome addition to my constantly growing collection. As I was leaving, I did notice some ugly blue thing which turned out to be a Captain America action figure. I'm glad it stopped me because it made me realize that I forgot to check out the plushie section. It's the usual Squishmallow galore, but I did find another Pokemon plushie. Here we have a 12-inch Growlithe by Jazzwares. I'm gonna place this on the shelf for a better view. It looks pretty nice to me. Growlithe doesn't have the best viewing angle from the front, but 45 degrees might be the best. As for the price, if I could find it, Growlithe is only $8 and GameStop sells this for $20, so Ross likely has the best deal. And look at what's come back to Ross, more Sleeping Pikachu plushies. If you missed out before, you got another chance. Well, that's it for this Ross. Since we're on the subject of Pokemon, I decided to stop by the nearby Pokemon Center vending machine to try my luck, and it worked out. Not only were booster packs of Destined Rivals and Journey Together available, but a White Flare ETB was also available for purchase. We all know what's gonna happen here. Huh, it looks like I accidentally scrolled up instead. There we go. Don't worry, I didn't buy 2. However, I will get whatever stock is left of the Destined Rivals and Journey Together booster packs. The amount ended up being 3 each, and if there were more, I would have only gone up to 5 each. Dropping $100 on Pokemon cards in one go is a lot. I know I'll be able to snag more from this machine in the future, so I'm not worried. So that's 7 items in total, and that's just a little over $80. Scalpers are really trying to ask for $80 just for the White Flare ETB, and all I have to say to that is piss off, scalpers. And with that, this is not only my first Elite Trainer box purchase of 2025, but also my first ever ETB purchase in general. Good show. Now to pick up the rest of the spoils, why don't we just go through it real fast. And that's all 7 items tied to this purchase. I remember my first time buying stuff from this machine, stock became available immediately after my transaction was complete. It wasn't the case this time, but if you're hoping to capitalize on your chance to get yourself some products without scalpers getting in the way, always check again after you complete your purchase. That was some massive luck, and it appears to be rolling into Burlington because for being one of the first 100 people in the store for the day, I got a $5 off a minimum $5 purchase on anything in the store. Even if I don't find a collectible, I'll get a bag of chips or candy for free effectively. I normally don't highlight these, but considering we're at Burlington, it's this or nothing. Any doll enjoyers here? If so, no judgment. In the end, we're all collecting hunks of molded plastic. That Moana doll was $15 and it's currently 24 clams brand new on the Zon. We've got a 5-inch Jack-specific Bart Simpson action figure here. This is a serious contender to use my $5 coupon towards, but before I make my decision, I want to do a little more digging. Sometimes it's best not to rush into these things, and case in point, we have the 2.5-inch scale Simpsons Family multi-pack for $16. After applying my coupon, this would be 11 smackers, and that would average to about $1.57 per family member. It's still too soon to make a decision, so we're gonna keep moving. The plushie section is looking like how it typically does, and that's not a very quality Hello Kitty plush in my opinion, so it stays behind. This food tray thing is rather neat, but seems impractical as I don't eat in bed. Moving back to the toy section, we got some Pet Simulator stuff by Fat Mojo. Here's a collector bundle that comes with 8 great items, including an exclusive plush and some exclusive DLC cards. I have no idea if the 2 DLC codes count towards the 8 great items, and honestly, I don't feel like looking it up. This thing was $6 at Burlington, and it goes for $19 on the Zon. I've seen similar bundles at Ross and DD's discounts as well, but I can't remember the prices. Moving on, it seems like one half of the toy section was cleared out to make room for sporting equipment. I guess I can't blame Burlington considering there seem to be less toys to put out. These Mr. Beast Classic Panther vinyl figures have practically been a mainstay at every discount store lately, and for the most part, they're not moving. We got some Goo Goo Gaga baby toys, a DJ Panda in particular, but for 1,600 pennies, no thank you. So we're passing by the books, which are usually not in that area, and that's when I realized I went down the wrong aisle. I usually walk down this section after looking at the plushies. There were a few Pet Simulator bundles here, but I didn't notice them while filming, just during editing, and here's another Simpsons Family multi-pack. I feel like the powers that be are telling me to buy that thing. However, there's still some more browsing to be had before I make my decision. We have some 3.5-inch Legacy United Transformers here, Cheetor, Galvatron, and Geocron. I've seen them all at Ross before, and for $1 less than what Burlington charges. At this point, I honestly felt a little confused as I totally started off walking through a different aisle. I was too distracted by the coupon I got. By this time, I made my decision, and I went with the Bart Simpson action figure. The decisive factor were the wonky eyes, which actually seem quite normal when you look at the box art. 50 dimes off a 36-quarter purchase is pretty good in my opinion. Now we're at... wait, I can't quite tell, give me a second. Right, this is DD's discounts. I normally go to Ross after Burlington, but for reasons, I'm not going there this time. I don't know how anyone who isn't super tall is supposed to see that Jujutsu Kaisen minifigure set at the very back of the top shelf. We got some things of interest here: Minecraft Flippin' Figs, Super Mario movie action figures, Fortnite stuff, and some Dragon Ball Super Dragon Stars action figures. Oh wait, scratch that last one. Those are not interesting. especially at $2 more and a blank comparable value, which to me indicates Nintendo DS prices. Ah, this Battle Record Collection Trafalgar Law is still here for 18 smackers. If it's not selling at DD's for that price, it's certainly not going to sell at Ross for 20 buckaroos. And speaking of buckaroos, I found some All Elite Wrestling action figures, not of the Young Bucks who are just an absolute joke of a tag team and EVPs, but of an unmatched MJF and Jade Cargill. Old finds, but let's switch over to the end cap because we got some new finds. Well, two actually. I saw this Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection Hordak at Ross several outings ago, but at $5 rather than $6. Here's one of the new finds, a Cartoon Collection Manny Faces. You know what's gonna happen. Same thing's gonna happen with this Cartoon Collection Triclops. I never even saw any of these at retail locations like Target and Walmart. It's like they just went straight to discount stores. I constantly hear about Mattel having awful distribution, but I'm not gonna complain if it means I save money in the end. We're about to hit 11 minutes into this toy bargain hunting outing. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit me with a like, smack me over the head with a sub, and if you feel like I earned one, run a super thanks my way. Thank you for sticking around, and let's continue with the outing. There's really nothing else to see here, so we're gonna skip the filler and head over to another DD's Discounts. I swear, those Limit Breaker Broly action figures won't stop showing up at discount stores. Just clearance them out for 49 cents or throw them away because they're pretty much worthless and no one wants to buy them. That's a cute Squishmallow, but no thanks. Let's see what else is lying around. Plenty of off-brand discount store slop, but here's a Pokemon Select vinyl figure of Cubone. How is there so much merch of that Pokemon? I thought that was Wednesday stuff there for a second because of how purple it was, and here's another Pokemon Select vinyl figure, a mid-looking Pikachu. Why am I going so fast? I don't understand. None of this stuff is noteworthy, but the things below them certainly are. We have even more Masters of the Universe action figures. There's been a drought of Motu stuff for the past year, but it's recently turned into a flood at discount stores. I bought this Cartoon Collection Clawful a few weeks ago on clearance at Target for 60 cents less than what DD's Discounts is charging, so big W for me. DD's Discounts has also been stocking Turtles of Grayskull action figures, same price as they are at Ross, $13. Here's one action figure I don't own, a Cartoon Collection Spikor, Untouchable Master of Evil Combat. So everyone, I happened to make a mistake. I thought I already owned this Origins Trapjaw action figure, but after looking through my stuff a few days later, it turned out I had a Cartoon Collection Trapjaw instead, so I missed out on a cool action figure. I'm sure I'll get another chance to acquire one at a discount store, so I'm not having FOMO. We're near the checkout area and there's just a bunch of unsellable Dragon Ball Super slop here. This stuff is even more pervasive than the best action TMNT action figures. Heck, the Anime Heroes Renji Abarai action figures are pretty much long gone, and look, more blank comparable values, which means more PlayStation DualShock prices. It's pretty much the same down here too. These are bottom of the barrel collectibles, and I really don't understand how new stock of these keeps showing up at discount stores for well over a year. I guess Bandai Namco really overproduced these things. Those with sharp eyes will have noticed new price tags have been plastered on top of the old ones, and they've been raised by 2 clams. When will discount stores learn that stuff that doesn't move will have an even lesser chance to sell when the price increases? It's not rocket science. So we saw Pokemon Select Zapdos action figures at the first stop of the day, Ross, and DD's Discounts has them as well. I told you not to buy them at Ross, and that's because DD sells them for $13, which is a whole $2 less than Ross. In addition, they've got another legendary bird, Moltres. I've seen the counterpart Articuno action figure before, and with that, all 3 legendary birds from the original 151 appeared at DD's Discounts at some point. That's a W for them, but now they're gonna take an L. These Amazing Heroes Mirko anime figures are now $18. They were only $13 a few weeks prior, and even before that, they were only 10 greenbacks, so the MHA anime figures experience an 80% price increase at DD's Discounts. That's a bunch of horseshit if you ask me. Never mind the crappy Ned Funko Pop figures, but focus your attention on the Captain Hook ones, mainly because they come with protector cases and you're not being charged extra for them. That's a W. I don't mind if I come across occasional L's at discount stores, so as long as they're not overly egregious, or at the very least, there's more W's. Alright, our time at this DD's Discounts has come to an end, and now it's time to jump over to another Ross. I think it's been well over a month since I was last at this location. I strike out often over here, which is why I haven't felt the need to come back, but I might as well see how things are going after a long break. When I saw the Squishmallow, I didn't know who it was, but then I saw the Muppets tag. I've known about Muppets my whole life, and I don't recall Sam the Eagle. Aside from Kermit, Miss Piggy, Gonzo, and Fozzie, I don't remember the others. And I think I've resigned myself to the idea that this Transformers 1 Bumblebee mask will never drop in price. There's been a rise in Halloween squishmallows at Ross. Here's Natasha the Zombie S'more. Weird, but cute, which is how I would describe pretty much every squishmallow. $4 is a great price, and I would say Ross is the place to get affordable seasonal squishmallows. You're going to be paying higher prices at Five Below for smaller squishmallows, so don't go there unless you have no other choice. There wasn't much on that shelf, but we're inching closer to the anime figures. This Grandista Super Saiyan Vegeta figure was 25 bucks, which is why I pretty much glossed over it. There's another 12-inch Spin Master action figure. I only ever bought one of those, and it was a Master Chief action figure from Halo. Ross still has some Godzilla figures, if you're into a chibi version of the character. For 150 dimes, that's an easy no thank you for me. But if this floats your boat, more power to you. Go for it. Let's continue moving towards the end of the shelf. Look at that, more Pokemon Select action figures. Something tells me with the abundance of those items, they will hit clearance prices by the time the red tables hit the sales floor. You all know what I mean by red tables, right? Leave your answer in the comments. Funko Pop figures are already kinda hit or miss, but when it comes to these Dorbs, I feel like it's all miss. They look even less appealing than— whoops, sorry about that, dropped it. As I was saying, Dorbs look even less appealing than Pop figures. At least with those, there are some characters that fit the Pop style, but when it comes to Dorbs, it all falls flat. I feel like I've been seeing less and less Demon Slayer anime figures lately. Here's a returning Kizuno no So Yushido for 15 bucks. Demon Slayer avoids the price hikes. For now. There's a lot of Pokemon merch here. I wish the TCG products would be that abundant, and we got another Grandista figure, a rather bulky Edward Newgate for $23. With his weapon, this thing stands at over 8 inches tall, which is impressive for a price figure. He's going for $30 at retail stores, so Ross still has the better price. Here's another new one, a Grand Line Series Extra Nefeltari Vivi. She looks pretty cool, but I'm not about to pay $20 for a Grand Line figure at a discount store. She's only about $5 higher on the Zon, and given my hookups with traveling to Japan for free, I might as well wait and pick her up during my next trip. Thanks to my full-time job and current lack of vacation time, that won't be happening anytime soon, unfortunately. I don't know how people work full-time jobs yet manage to be so productive outside of them. Sometimes I just want to sleep as soon as I get home, but there are other obligations to take care of and videos to be edited. Apologies for the slightly off-topic rant. There's only one more area to check out at this Ross, and it's a narrow end cap. Or is it mid-cap? I guess I was wrong about the anime heroes Renji Abarai action figures being long gone. This Ross has plenty of him. However, it seems like an abundance of action figures in general. There's quite a few Turtles of Grayskull characters. I saw Superman, a Batman 66 Disco Inferno Nightwing, and a Star Wars Black Series Jod Nawood, among others. We're pretty much done with the toy section, and I was sorely mistaken when I said this and mid-cap was the last area to check out here. I heard there were some pretty cool Halloween prints at Ross, so I decided to see what was at the wall art section, and I was not disappointed. You know, thanks to the quick search bar on Windows 11, I learned that August 21st is the anniversary of the theft of the Mona Lisa painting. It's a random but ultimately useless bit of information. Alright, here is what I was looking for. Halloween stuff, and of course we got some Disney canvas prints. We got Stitch and a Jack-o'-lantern, Mickey and Minnie Mouse dressed up as mummies, and something not Disney. We got a Bluey Halloween print, which seems more goofy than spooky, but then again, none of these prints are spooky. Here's something non-Halloween themed, but quite cool nonetheless. This Avengers frame print with a pop-out style illustration. Actually, I have to take back the cool points for excluding Hawkeye. Let's look at some more prints, and man, that is just god-awful. I can't imagine a Bluey enjoyer hanging that on their wall, nor could I imagine a Disney enjoyer liking this thing. I wouldn't buy these even at the lowest of Ross clearance prices. Here's something a lot more fitting for Halloween, which can double as Christmas decor due to the nature of the property. Can't go wrong with multi-purpose decorations. Ooh, that one's a lot nicer. I like the pop-up effect on the print. In Photoshop, I believe that effect was called embossed. Is that the case for these prints as well? That Jack Skellington framed art is top tier, but sadly for Bluey, it's another bottom tier print. Damn, things are just popping off with the Nightmare Before Christmas prints. But here's something more to my liking, Sanrio Halloween wall art. I really like the effect of the main illustration popping out from the background, and wow, that is a cute print. Nothing like seeing a cat wear a cat costume. At least it's not as weird as a cat having a pet cat, which has very odd implications. Boo, I don't want to see that. Sorry, Bluey fans. Oh, there's another Halloween Hello Kitty frame back there, and this one is just as cute as the other Black Cat Hello Kitty frame we just saw. I want to buy one of them, but I'm having a hard time deciding which I like best, and no, I'm not going to buy both of them. In this instance, buying one or the other is plenty. I think the best way for me to decide is to line them up and look at each of them side by side. I thought this would make things easier, but it's doing the opposite. They're all so good that I really want to get all three, but no, we're not going to do that. I like that there's more cutesy stuff going on with the witch print, like that ghost at the top left corner, but I think I really want to go with one of the black cat prints. The one with the black frame had a stain on the main illustration that I couldn't remove. Also, Hello Kitty looks cuter popping up from behind the jack-o'-lantern rather than sitting on it. So with that, the orange framed wall art wins out. Let's move on to the checkout area of this Ross, and it's almost all Funko Pop figures. We got the massive 10-inch Echo and Nightwing Jumbo Pops, which are so plentiful that they're not gonna move at their price tag of $15. Those former Entertainment Earth exclusive Soifon Funko Pop figures are rather neat, but not enough for me to buy. As for those Pam Beesly Funko Pop figures, she looks like all the other ones. It's the same Funko Pop figure, I guess. And I think we're wrapping up with these Star Wars Bounty Collection minifigures. There's something with a tail, Wicket maybe, and some droid. Okay, it's time to finish the outing, and let's move on to the haul. And check that out, everyone. It was yet another worthy batch of finds. I gotta drink some more luck potions because I feel like the effects are gonna run out, and I'm gonna also get hit with some debuffs. And that does it for another toy bargain hunting outing. If you made it this far, type Karibo in the comments. Thank you for coming along for the ride, and if you have some more time on your hands, please check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you later.